I have a hack for that. Let me try to sell you on my hack. My hack is that you could go and look while I'm talking at these people's profiles, and that way you can actually say things. You'll see things that I won't.
So that's not a hack. That's just doing something in conjunction.
I thought it was a hack.
That's absolutely not a hack.
Okay, by the way, we're live here, buddy. I put us live.
Okay,
in
can you
fact-
share your screen?
Yeah.
Are you able to share your screen?
I'm worried that it'll crash me. That's my main concern, that it'll crash me.
Why? It's not going to crash you.
Oh, it'll crash me.
No, buddy, you'll be fine.
The thing is, too, when I'm going to be alternating between screens, so you won't necessarily see what you want to see.
Although you can fix what screen you're mirroring.
Oh, God. Okay, hold on. First of all,
Okay, let's make it. I'll bet you $50 you don't crash.
with Jameel, $50.
$50.
Oh, dude. I'm gonna crash. Oh, and now I have another problem. Actually, Jameel, this is important. Hold on.
Yeah, I just did the same.
We got other problems. I got to put on earbuds here.
1 second, let me change mine.
You don't need to do it. I need to do it. I'm the hoster. The hoster with the coaster. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, it's so complicated.
I do like your pink headphones.
These are my daughter's headphones, boss.
Yeah, they really bring out the color of your eyes.
I got a different one I actually just bought, but this was the one on the desk. Okay, actually, Fauger, can you tell me, buddy, did that fix it? I have a feeling what I just did absolutely nothing. Playback device. I think we want to go here. Oh, Christ. I didn't do that. Okay, maybe, say something, Jameel.
Hi.
No, darn it, it's not working. God damn it. All right, try again.
Hello.
No, it's not. It's supposed to be coming through my business, and it's not.
What about
No, it's not on your end, dude. I'm trying to get it to go through these headphones, and it's not going through the headphones. But keep talking. No.
Okay.
Oh, it's just a pain in the ass is what it is, dude. Say something entertaining, boss. I'm going to try to get my new headphones. I wanted to try to make this work anyway.
Entertaining. Okay. So, Jesse has been coaching me now for, I think, 3 years when I first started. And the only thing I knew about chess was the rules. And I started playing some blitz. And then I took Gary Kasparov's masterclass, which taught you the basic motives. But I wasn't getting any better. So I engaged Jesse. And the first thing he did, he told me to stop playing blitz. And we started playing some longer games. And long story short, when I first started with him, I was about 1,000 rated player. And 3 years later, I'm now a 2,100 rated. And my next cold turkey sacrifice will be to stop playing, or rather to drastically reduce my online chess and to play over the board. For those of you who didn't know that story already.
Oh, boss. Okay, wait. I think I know. I got it. It's a Skype problem, dude. This is the evil Skype. It has nothing... Because Skype needs to go through my headphones.
Do you want to send me a Zoom link instead if you're struggling with Skype?
Wait, just give me a second because I think I know how to do this. Audio and video. All right, so the mic is correct and the speakers is not correct. Yeah. All right, now say something. Damn. Nothing. Now say something, buddy. Just keep talking, actually. Oh, it's just a shit show. Headphones. Okay, now we got it, buddy. Now we got it. Can you say something? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to test this in the chat and see if this is correctamundo. Whether it's coming through... Okay, wait. You say something. We can't hear him. We can only hear you. Jesus Christ. Oh, Kostya's going to be on me, dude. He's like, I thought you figured out the headphones. I got new headphones, so now I'm trying to figure out the new ones. Because he didn't like my pink ones, dude. He was like, oh, those pink ones, those suck. Okay, right now it's going, your business is going, you have to route the sound into a virtual mixer. No, I don't need to do a virtual mixer. That's too complicated. I have no idea what that even means. What do I need to do? I've done this before. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it coming through? Why isn't it coming through? Okay, maybe try now. Wait, no, you got to say more than that. Can you guys hear him now? These chumps, they better say something. I still can't hear him, dude. Oh, man, why doesn't this work? Was it a Zoom problem? Because it was working with Zoom. Oh, fudge. But why wouldn't it work, dude? My brain is like doing some calculus here and I can't figure it out. It's really an asshole thing here going on. Oh, I don't believe in the Zoom, dude, you know? I mean, I don't know why that would be a difference. Why? I don't think it'll make any difference at all. I don't understand. Nope. But I don't know why. I don't know why it's not working in Skype, so why would it work in Zoom? In any case, we'll try. I'll send you a link, dude. And I'll send you in the Skype thing. Boop, boop. All right, buddy. Let's turn off this one, and then I'll... Okay, boss, say something.
Okay.
Okay, so now you're coming through my computer, but maybe that's the way it has to be. So first of all...
They hear me.
They hear you, but does it sound terrible? That's the question.
Am I echoing?
But this makes no sense because now I have the headphones on, and the headphones I'm not hearing you through the headphones. So that's got to be incorrectamundo, right? Why, dude? Oh, maybe I just...
All right, well, let's see. Change the Zoom
speaker output to your headphones, and let's see if I.
But then people don't hear anything.
But isn't there a way to make it such that they can hear me even? Such that they can hear me even. Okay, let's keep it as it is. I sound fine.
Okay, I have no understanding what, but look, if I have to take the headphones out, the headphones aren't doing anything, man. Headphones aren't doing anything. It makes zero sense to me, dude. The headphones. I think sometimes when there's a lag, then it sounds awful. And then probably as we're talking, it'll sound awful. And then Kostya's going to rip me a new one, dude, because he's so mad about this issue. So I could be in big trouble here. Big trouble. All right, let's start. And now you want me to do something else really complicated. You want me to share the screen with you in Zoom. So then we're going to crash. All right, dude. All right, I'll share this thing with you.
Buddy, it's not that hard.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. All right, share.
Your age is showing.
All right, do you see this guy that I'm looking at here?
Yeah, Zork.
Zork, dude.
Aficionado.
We're gonna look at Zork, dude. Yeah. Oh, I'm so upset by this thing, man. Okay, we are doing it wrong. Kostya's gonna wail on me. We're gonna follow Zork though. Okay, so first thing off, let me just say, Jameel, I think it might be cool for Jameel to see some of these people on their chess journey. Hopefully, maybe Jameel can say something interesting about their journey. He also began, like most of these people, well, kind of recently. Now he's a genius. Up there, 2000chess.com.
21.
21, excuse me, 21chess.com.
Excused. I worked hard for those 100-point chess, you know that.
Jared Hall, if you could tell me what the problem was, then that would be helpful. Okay, so we see that this person joined fairly recently and got a beautiful heat map. We're trying to get Jameel to do the heat map too. And I just did a video, not for YouTube, but for internal, trying to sell people on my vision for how this heat map should look. Okay, but that's another story. Let's go into Zork. He's just started, kind of crushing it. Hasn't done any tactics tests. It's okay, just started. Let's see what his activity is. No, he's doing good. He's done some tactics and some endgame. I'd be very impressed if he already had a game. So, and you hear this? Mahogi saying, hey, Baus, you got to play some OTB. That's right, buddy. And this guy, dude, Zork, he's already got a game. All right. So normally, Zork, we would like you to play a little longer than 10-0, but let's go give this a click here. And now I am going to switch scenes. And here we go. So this is Zork, who I believe is black. So first of all, Zork, you are doing fantastic, just developing your pieces. Your opponent's trying to knock you out. Boom, nice move. E takes d5, and now there's a bunch of different moves that you could do. Your move, I don't think, is totally unreasonable. Knight d4. This move would get very spicy, and I don't even know how quite you would answer it, but what would you do on d6? That would be the big question, because he'd be looking at you. I do think it's maybe something you could do, though. Let's just look at what happens. So c3, boom. Now d6 is not a problem because your knight can go back. All right, queen a4. That doesn't make any sense to me. c6. And you're saying that's incorrect, Mundo. And it is, because one thing we want you to see about c6 is that this guy was the criminal, and you're going to open him up when you play c6.
And you're also allowing some discovery ideas with takes on b7 as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I want to say, Zork, is other people have had this problem too, but if you copy and paste the whole PGN. That means the list of moves from chess.com. It will also copy the times. So even though this is a short game, it would be good to know how long you thought on this move, right? One thing you could see is he's already using our stockfish here. And, you know, that's a little bit too long, but the main point is just to see that after bishop d7, you are fine. There's nothing wrong with your position. You're ahead in development. Okay, c6. Uh-oh. 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 Crispy critters. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say that you should know, Zork, is you are not the first person to fall victim to this knight g5 move. It's called the fried liver attack. And for where you are, I thought you played this pretty well. You know, you blocked it, and then you saved your knight. And by the way, this is like GMs have spent a lot of time thinking about this position. They've spent a lot of time thinking about this position.
Quick question here.
Yeah.
Is the main line knight b4?
No, knight a5.
Knight a5. Oh, yes, to hitting the bishop. Yeah.
But just to share, this is like a very involved position. But for your purposes, really, this guy you're playing is just trying for a cheap trap. Right? We can talk, but I just wanted to say that you're kind of in the halls of giants here in this position. Yeah, and knight a5 is the normal main move, and something like this is kind of typical. And the real point to see here is that you are up in development drastically, right? Okay, but other than that, you would have still been fine on queen a4 if you hadn't played c6. Bishop d7, you can always play this. That's just a real comfortable move to play knight d6 because you're covering all of your coconuts, right? Okay, Zork, that was brilliant, man. Ooh, and I kind of I did a small blow it here. Hold on, I can fix it. We're going to go view all. So, Jared says, am I communicating over Zoom? We are, yeah. Okay, next up we have the admired bra. No, Jared, there's no virtual microphone. We're not doing anything like that, buddy. It's far more simple than that. You got to get you want to get a Boomer GM to set up a virtual microphone? No, that's too hard. That's too hard. Okay, so the admired bra, we're going to give him a follow. Now, Jameel, you're in tune with the English football. Is that little AIA? Is that like Tottenham? What is that? It looks like Tottenham.
Yeah. It's Tottenham.
Now, what kind of?
Yeah, it is.
What kind of? I feel like Tottenham people in London. What's their reputation, dude?
Oh, they never win anything.
But I mean, what kind of fans are Tottenham fans? I gotta change the scene.
Tottenham fans are fairly reasonable people.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think Manchester United fans historically were the ones that
They're the worst, huh?
you're either a Man U fan or you didn't like Man U fans.
Right.
And then Man City fans, they have a reputation for being glory hunters.
Oh, well, yeah, because their team's so new, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what about just London? I feel like Chelsea fans got something kind of. I mean, Chelsea fans, they got some problems these days, and then you got the old Arsenal fans. Those people are crazy, dude.
Yeah, the Arsenal fans, I mean, they treat football like a religion. By football, I mean soccer to the Americans, but it's really called football.
Yeah.
Yeah, they treat it like a religion. Normally, with Arsenal fans, you would have been an Arsenal fan 7 generations before you in the family.
Right. Okay, let's come back to this Tottenham fan. And that's kind of hard for me to judge what's going on. It kind of looks like they haven't really been logging their hours, but they are logging their points here. They started pretty recently, and they've done a lot of work Well, it looks pretty good, honestly, this little breakdown of stuff that they've got. And when we look at their rating, well, they've done good. They're up to, actually, they're not quite up to the ye old 400. They probably made it and then fell back down. But still, they don't have any clubs. They could be a London. I know there's a UK chess club. Maybe somebody will do a London chess club, which is kind of cool if you guys did it, because then you guys could meet and spar and yada yada. Okay, let's see if the admired bra has a games. No games. Okay. So admired bra, the next thing for you to do is to give us a game. All right, let's go back. Next up, we have Dryfo. Dryfo says, just updating to my current level. I haven't used the dojo much, but enjoyed the podcast and have signed up for the year. I found the improvement process a little overwhelming using my own plan, so I decided to use the dojo to help. Nice. By the way, if my sound starts sounding terrible, you let me know, because Kostya will just kill me, dude, if it doesn't sound good. And it's only sounding good by luck at this point, because usually if I don't have the headphones in, it just starts terrible.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What does the distribution look like in terms of the members of the dojo training program and their ratings?
That's something anybody can see here. I'll show you, actually. Go scoreboard. So you go scoreboard and you go statistics. And then what you're asking for, I think what you're asking for is the participants.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of our curve right there.
I see.
Both.
So, okay. So, I mean, it really is, it's a bell curve. With a peak at 1,000 to 1,100, and I think the second most is at 0 to 300, isn't it?
And the most important, though, this is a little bit misleading, is the blue one. It's a much smaller number, but those are the people who are active. Those are, and that, it looks about the same. It looks about the same. Yeah. Okay, so, boom, we'll go back. I would say in terms of, though, if you imagined it for what percentage of the world player population or something, well, it's not really a bell curve in the sense that for us, we have a lot of people say I would say 1,000, 1,100 is probably the biggest cohort. But, average rating out there in chess.com land, I think is like 7 something. So in terms of that, it's not a bell curve, of course, the actual players, right? It's this huge drop off that happens. And so we don't have a huge.
Well, it's a bell curve of sorts with a very small right hand side to the curve. That's
No. That's what I'm saying. It's not a bell curve. It starts off really big on the left hand side and then the long taper. Yeah. Okay. So let's do Dryfo. Dryfo has done some checkmate tests. Needs a little work over there. Definitely could work on this tactic stuff. And has graduated just this one time here to 781. Got the, now here's an example of the heat map in action. Just like me, Dryfo wasn't really logging stuff until the heat map appeared, and now he's crushing it with the heat map. Yeah, so that's cool. Let's see if we got some clubs. Chess Steps, Asian Dojo. I also really recommend people to say just a couple words about themselves. It helps me and others just know what's going on. The clubs is also cool. Now I know I don't know where in Asia you are, right? But I know that you're somewhere over there. Okay, let's look. Activity, lots of tactics. Let's give it a click. Boom. Everyone's first chess workbook. Fantastic place to start. Okay, good. Let's see if we got some games from Dryfo here. We do. So we are going to click this. Boom. And I'm going to change scenes here. If I forget to change scenes, you're the one who has to yell at me, Jameel.
Change scenes.
Yeah, like now if you look at the Twitch stream, you can see that it's set up differently.
Okay.
Now, first thing what I'm going to show, this is very important, is I'm going to show this time graph. Now, one of the things I say every week, but it's really important for Dryfo and everyone starting off, is to recognize that when we're playing online games against random people, it is common that these people won't be able to think. They're distracted. It's just impossible for them to think. So their way of dealing with that is just to move immediately. So for example, in this game that we're going to look at, the blue line is Dryfo's opponent, and this guy isn't thinking at all. It might as well be a blitz game for this person, right? This is actually, though, a 30 plus 30 game. So plenty of time. And it can be unnerving to play against these people. You know, it can be just so annoying to play against somebody where then you feel rushed. You don't actually get a moment to reflect on the game while your opponent's thinking about it. And of course, you're playing somebody who's just playing superficial moves, their first thought that there's coming to their head. Okay, so that's a big part of improvement, that we don't fall into that trap. All right, here we go. D4. Normally we would... Okay, let's read this. I'm playing the stonewall attack. Maybe the dojo coaches will disapprove, and I've tried E4, but I feel I just need something to get out of the open. All right, so listen. It would be better if you, for your chess development, if you didn't know words like stonewall attack. Because really, let's talk about it. What your next step, and just in terms of openings, is just to recognize what the principled moves are. Let's have Jameel. Jameel, tell us, buddy. I'll draw the arrows. You tell me what all the principled moves are in this position.
Obviously, King D2 is the first thing.
Don't be a jerk. Don't come on.
Knight F3.
Okay, good.
Knight C3 if you want.
Okay, yeah.
You can go bishop. You can go bishop F4.
Okay.
You could play G3 even.
Good.
With the idea that you're making the pawn move to shatter your light square bishop.
Good.
You could go, I mean, would you consider C4 here as well?
Yeah, good. Mm-hmm.
Knight D2.
I like that less, but yeah. Because it's blocking the bishop. Mm-hmm.
I don't like B3 because you've already made the pawn move to D4, opening up that diagonal for your dark square bishop.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, what else comes to mind here for you?
I think let's add bishop G5.
Okay.
But
Bishop G5.
I want to stress.
Oh, that would be, I mean, that's a trump. No.
I don't know the names of any openings, Jameel. I don't know the names of any of them. I just know that those are all the principled moves in the position.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing that I'm trying to say with Dryfo is, when we look at it, it's like, oh, wait a second. Jameel can name them all, whether he knows the names of the openings or not. And if you just choose one of those, you're going to be fine.
I will say another thing as well, is that if you start off playing E4, it forces you to improve your calculation. Or not just E4, but let's say in general, if you start off playing sharp openings at an earlier level.
Too complicated, Jameel. You're talking too complicated for Dryfo here, okay?
Okay.
Too complicated. So, again, one of the things that Jameel said, I just want to repeat it, is the move B3 here would be incorrect because we've already made a pawn move to get the bishop out, right? G3, on the other hand, is fine because we haven't made a pawn move to get this bishop out. We must make at least 2 pawn moves to get all our people out. That's the rule. And we don't really want to make a lot of pawn moves. Pawn moves aren't developing moves, right? So, for example, you're going to do this, very controversial. And I get it, you're having like a system, but it's not helping, and in fact hurting, because you're not getting a sense, which is the most important thing for you right now, of what principled moves are. Okay, f6, totally weird. Yeah, your opponent has no idea how to play chess, my friend. Okay, bit knight f3. Here,
Good move.
you could play bishop d3, threatening queen h5. That's a little bit better. But okay, knight f3. Okay, boom, boom. e5, frisky. Okay. You're right. So I think a lot at this stage. I believe it is a mistake by black. I think about playing queen h5 straight away, but I don't think it works. What I played is good, I think. Okay. Bam, look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, well, no, he can't. But still, it's white with an advantage here for sure.
That was really well done, dude. So here what you have actually is a classic tactic when your opponent doesn't develop their coconuts. Is you get this. This is what they get. Okay. So let's read what you write. Castles. As written in the sideline, I could have taken the rook and been fine. And what we're saying is you missed knight f6. So you castled. It looks beautiful, but then you missed this move. All right, and you're absolutely right. You could take the rook and then castle on the next move, and you're absolutely slaughtering the guy.
It'd be worth asking the question, was he worried about bishop g7 and he didn't see that he could go queen h7 there?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he says he has potential for getting his queen trapped.
Oh, yeah.
And also, actually, let's look at his variation with knight f6. The other thing really important to see is that when you castle, the knight is pinned, so you're actually threatening also to take the pawn. In addition to the fact that he's quite right about is that this coconut on bishop f8 can't move because the rook's hanging. Okay, so king f7 castles, knight f6, c3, poor move. A quiet move to not lose the pawn and initiative, but could I have been more aggressive? The engine says I lost the lead completely. Now, okay, this is a little bit hard with the engine because what you need is to understand that c3 is a complete loss of time. Okay? And further, let me say something. Let me be crude. I'm convinced, I've been teaching chess a long time, and I'm convinced that the reason you played c3 is because the back of your mind had the stonewall setup in mind. You had this stonewall setup has poisoned you so badly. Let's go back. That you were ready to do c3 on almost anything. Let me show actually a lot of times the stonewall. When does it make sense sometimes to play c3? When they play at c5. So this would be, if you had studied the stonewall somewhere, you could have had something like this. This is a typical stonewall situation. And what I'm going to claim is that that poison of c3 was stuck in your head, and that's what led you to play c3 way back over here.
Yeah, you really want the knight on that square, especially in this position with his knight pinned on f3.
Yeah, and you have a simple threat too. It's pinned, and so we're developing with a threat. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. c3, rook e8. Now he's getting his business out. Okay. Okay, at least we're trying. Okay, this is a terrible move. So black, look what they do, king g8. By the way, is black thinking? No. So what would be more appropriate? Rook f8, king over. Okay. Now he's undeveloped his rook. He's undeveloped his rook on h8. Good move. And I feel you should be proud of this. You're bringing your people out. Knight e4, and now the engine finds queen f7. Right. Polgar mates, you'll see it. And one of the things too is I feel if you had sensed how suspicious the move king g8 was, then you would have been more likely to find it. Now, let's just pretend the mate isn't there, okay? Jameel, if the mate isn't there, what move do we play?
Knight d2.
Knight d2. Jameel's been trained. That knight's he's got to come out. This rook's asking also to come out. Got to come out. So this is a typical thing where you're not developing. Good. All right, now we got our pawn. Good move. Queen d6. And you write, this move I am really unsure about. What is black doing? Perhaps a waiting move because they're out of ideas. Well, let me just tell you, the guy has no ideas at all. He's not thinking at all. Okay, so queen b5 would win a pawn. And maybe more importantly, once your queen gets in here, it's going to start pinballing around the black position, right? So it's not just about getting the pawn. It's about getting access to getting closer to the black king. But let's ask Jameel a question. This is, by the way, this is me asking Jameel. It's kind of fun because you'll see that he knows what the principled move is. Jameel, pretending that queen b5 is not there, what is the principled move in this position?
e4.
Very good. We want to get our coconut out, right? Also, opening up a line to the king. All right, here we go. Rook f3, g5. Bad move. No one knows why he's doing it. Now you see it. Boom. And it's, like I said, it's more than a pawn. You're like deep inside now. g4, check. Boom, boom. And now you play rook f4. This is pretty, a little bit hot of a situation. And you play rook f4, which I think is okay. You could also just take it because this is not mate, even though it is a little scary. All right, rook f4. He's going to try to make it scary over here. Queen h6. King f2. Check. Run. Rook g8, little passive. Queen e6 looks strong. Boom. Queen c6, also probably winning. Boom. 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 Oh, now go to the end game. Bishop g5, rook g4. Good move. Finally, we broke him. Oh, that wasn't it, buddy. And then we're winning. Okay. Yeah, that was great. So, Dreifo, I think hopefully that was helpful. And one of the things just to notice is don't study. Trust, this is for everybody. Trust the program. When we say it's not time, there is a time to study openings. It will come. But right now, it's really important to focus on understanding what the principled moves are, because it'll help you understand other things. Like when Jameel said e4, it's just a sense like, oh, I got to get my bishop out, right? That's
Just to put it into perspective for the audience.
Yeah.
Right? I've managed to get to 2100 from a rating of what? Just under 1,000 when we started something.
Yeah.
And I pretty much haven't studied openings once. I haven't memorized anything. Right?
That's right.
So it's not going to help you chess at all. It's cool because it makes you feel like you've got a sense of control over what's going on the board. But if you really want to get better, it's all about firstly not hanging stuff.
Yeah.
And secondly, just playing simple principled chess and improving on your calculation.
Well said. Okay, so let's do Q Gambetto. And Q says, I like the task. I did mostly stuff from the books, watched videos, and played games. At this level, I almost never go over 50% of playtime in 30-0, so there was little material to annotate and analyze. But I think it's going to change with higher rated opponents. Still not sure how to do sparring, new to Discord, and, for example, complete the endgame algorithms. I only use chess.com to play, need to learn how to use other functionalities, but excited to continue. I like how the program is teaching me to sit on my hands, and even the past few days have improved my visualization. I'm much faster at spotting opportunities. Okay, I like that. Let's go.
That's a good phrase. Sit on my hands.
Yeah. So here's Q. Joined fairly recently. Has a beautiful heat map going on here. Look at that rating gain, dude. Welcome to the dojo, man. Welcome to the dojo. He's just flying up. Totally flying up. Has done some tactics tests. Done much better on the checkmate tests. This overall tactics rating conforms to where he's at. Radically, it says, how's the dojo been? Dojo's been doing great. This is our beautiful web page. Let's check out Q if he's got some clubs. No clubs. Q, tell us something about yourself. Just give us a little flavor. So doing a little bit of non-dojo, a lot of tactics, and we're, like he said, maybe we're not going to get any games and analysis here yet. But he's got a pretty good mix of all this other stuff going on. Okay, let's see if we got some games. No games. Well, Q, I understand what you're saying about the time. And as we saw with the last person, sometimes you play these people and they just move instantly. However, I do want to be really clear. So just to back up, to be clear, first of all, about what he said, then I'll be clear about what I'm saying. He said, in fact, we'll go back. He said he liked the task, but at this level, I almost never go over 50% of play time. So your opponents, like we saw with our first graduate, Zork, will often just not use their time. No reason why they're even playing 30 plus 30 or 30-0. But you can definitely use that time. And like you said, this whole thing of sit on your hands, you're going to have the ability to do that, especially as you get stronger, right? You will see more things. Waiting to see some stuff will help you. Jameel's been struggling with it too. He's trying to play some over the board. He likes that 30-0 thing too. Oh man, the struggles I've had with this young man. Oh man. All right, here we go. Matubal says, I've been away from chess for about 4 months, but excited to take on the next cohort. I have a few tournaments lined up, and I'm looking forward to the analysis I'll get from those games. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's go over here. This is Matubal, who has graduated numerous times. Look at this. He's flying up. Hasn't really marked any of his business over here with the hours worked, but has been marking the dojo points. Has been with us for a year.
Points to me, Jesse?
What's that?
Could you explain what the dojo points are?
Well, actually, we'll look for Matt and we'll go activity. And you can see, so he's completed an algorithm, so he gets 5 points for that.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, he did. There's different amounts of points for different things, right? He did some puzzle rush. He memorized the game.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate that was a mechanism.
Doing some blunder games. Yeah. So this heat map's great. Like I said, I have a whole proposal now for how we can make it even better. Let's see if Matt's got some clubs. Beautiful. Now, as we see, people who just joined often haven't discovered the clubs yet. But the clubs, really cool. For example, Matt might be able to find some people in Boston to do some sparring with in real life, right? And this evening dojo is more like, well, we can hang out and do stuff in the evening, right? Because like we can meet over Discord or Skype or Zoom or whatever. Okay, so let's take a look at the training plan, activity. And hasn't been logging his time. Some people don't, but the overall score breakdown is looking good. And we're gonna actually go back one to see what he did. So, beautiful macro distribution of the stuff. And let's see if we got a game here. Oh, we got loads. So Matt is doing it the right way. However, this one was kind of way back when. So I might have even covered this one already. Let's see here. Well, okay, let's see. So this one is one that he did a ways back. There's something wrong with the clock times.
Jesse, do you need to change the scene?
Not yet. Oh, yeah. Here, I'll show just the time here. There's something wrong, but let's presume that that is Matt's time right there. Okay, thank you, though, Jameel. That's more or less right. Now I'm going to change the scene. Okay. So far, so good. Fine. Boom. 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 Everyone's queen's funky now. Boom. 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 Oh, it's hot. B3. Now, let me just say, this is kind of the known business. And it's really hard for both sides to play this position. Jameel, you've never seen this position before, but I think it might be a good exercise for you and for us. What would you say the dynamics here are?
Okay, well, it's a sharp position. Both sides have some issues regarding their bishops. So for white, it's a light squared bishop. For black, it's a dark squared bishop because the queens are in the way. And there are pins going around all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite... Okay, I see why b3 played. Sorry, yeah. B3 played. Might be worth noting that black does have some doubled pawns. What would I want to consider here?
Wait, Jameel. What are the dynamics?
What have I missed out?
Okay, so let me describe it for what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the white player having learned some kind of difficult theory. But I'm going to guess they don't understand the dynamics. Jameel doesn't either. Jameel doesn't either. All right, so let's look. Black has a huge lead in development. However, the claim is that this bishop's dead. The claim is this knight is not going to be well placed, right? It's a very difficult thing for white to do because white is really claiming that they can keep all of these pieces under lock and key. It's not an easy thing to do. So, for example, castles, it's funny where he says, my opponents seem genuinely surprised by this move. Maybe it isn't the theoretical move, but then this question still remains. What is white supposed to do? And let's put it in the simplest terms. What's wrong? I don't know if it's terrible, but yeah, what's funky about bishop b2?
Does the bishop want to be on that diagonal?
Well, it's giving the knight this square.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about white playing this is more advanced than this show is going to be for the under 1,000 crew. But you have to control those minors because black is up an incredible amount of development. And black is going to be trying to bust out. And bishop b2 might look natural, but it's not containing the black pieces. Okay, queen g5, also kind of a pain because now we're threatening bishop b4. Queen f3, boom. And so this is what's going to happen to you if you get too fancy. You get too fancy, this is what's going to happen. I think he's already in big trouble. You talk about king d1 being the only move, but at that point, we also just have to say quite clearly that you're doing fine. After king d1, all your pieces are out. The king's a chump, right? So knight c3, bam, punished him. And you talk about king d2. That's obviously not the happiest thing for white, but now you finish him off, and we're winning. So let's just actually say what's beautiful about this is Matt, I think didn't have any special knowledge about this opening. His opponent studied opening before anything else and then got murdered. Welcome to the dojo, buddy. So I love how you extricate your knight here. That's well done. He trades. We say thank you. D5, beautiful. And I didn't highlight the bishop. He did it. So that was good. We want to open that guy up. We'll just go back, yeah. C5. Okay. I would have taken immediately on C4, but you're doing fine. Good. Look at this. Oh, you're just eating him. Just eating it all up. Jesus, take it easy. Take it. Oh, look at that. Oh, buddy. Yeah, that isn't it, buddy. Wow. Matt, that was well played, bud. That was really well played. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say that was definitely, I don't know, 1,600 plus play at least. You didn't really make any mistakes that I could tell. And you took advantage of the tactical opportunities that you had. And you didn't, and you were playing somebody who like studied the Scotch opening. Yeah, Quad XE's shouting you out too, man. That was great. Okay, so well done. And we'll go back. I got to remember to change the scene before someone yells at me. And next up we have, I don't know, Azazelzel. Azazelzel has graduated numerous times, doesn't say anything. Let's see what happens when we click on. Okay, so I'm going to give Azazel a follow. They've graduated numerous times. They are, though, in the wrong cohort, at least by their Lichess rating. But their ratings are kind of all over the place. This ChessCom is way down below. Okay. Enjoyed chess since I was a kid and picked it up again. Started going through a bunch of books before realizing that just studying and doing endless practice with puzzles but not playing. Wanted to choose a learning system that included playing and learning from my games. Enter the dojo. Beautiful. Now, Azelzel joined very recently, and you could see. Look at that heat map, just crushing it. So, Azelzel, maybe, just, he's already past this. Might already be past this. Doing some tactics tests. Now, the tactics and stuff are closer to what this cohort is. So maybe he's onto something. They are onto something. All right, let's see clubs. Chicago, great. Oh, we got 20 people in Chicago. I lived in Chicago, long time ago. In the time before the internet, I lived in Chicago. All right, beautiful heat map. Let's see activity. Lots of tactics. Let's give it a click. And everyone's first chess workbook. Look at that. Doing a lot of stuff with the tactics. Hopefully we'll find a game. Let's see. We got one against Jared Hall, who is in the chat, I think, or he was previously. So, boom. And let me just click around here for a second. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this time graph to see what kind of story it tells. Now, what we're going to hope to find is that the game was essentially over on move 33. And then they stopped, because here they stop really thinking and it explodes. So we're going to hope, the only explanation for this is somebody's up a piece and they're just continuing playing on even though they should just resign. Sometimes what we see though in the dojo is people think that the end game is simple or they're frustrated by it and then they just move impulsively without thinking because it's too hard. A lot of times people are exhausted and then they'll just keep moving really fast, start moving really fast, right? Okay, well, we'll see what the truth is. All right. My first game at longer time controls, where I frequently blunder from making quick moves. Okay, let's check it out how it goes. So this is a Zelzel playing a hero of the dojo, Jared Hall, who might be in the chat. So far, perfect moves. All right, now unfortunately, Zelzel has a opening repertoire. It's not time yet for this opening repertoire. E5. So the bummer about E5 is you're hanging a pawn. Yeah. A lot of times black can play E5 in the King's Indian, but that is when there is a discovered attack on the knight here. Let's say knight takes E4, for example, after he wins the pawn. Now, Jared, I'm going to yell at you here. I'm going to say the reason you're playing this is because there's another position that Jameel knows well where this E5 without knight C6 comes into play. Let's talk about it. So C4, bishop G7, knight C3, castles, E4, D6, bishop B2, E5. Here E5 is the correct move. Now, why are you playing E5 in this position? I'm pretty certain it's because you saw the position I just showed you. And now you're just hanging a pawn. Hi, Jared Hall. I'm yelling at you good. Okay. White trusts you. Plays knight C3. Knight C6. Okay, now black's position makes sense. Bishop E3. All right, it's a little weird, but okay, it is a developing move. Rook E8. Maybe knight G4, but maybe E4. Rook E8, there's nothing wrong. Queen A4. Okay. Little weird, but all right. Knight G4. Problem. Bishop G5. Probably your best move. Okay, and let's read what you say about bishop F6. There were better ways to rebut this attack than giving up the bishop and leaving the king weak on the dark squares. Let's put that bishop F6 on the board. Although the bishop has been blocked by black's e-pawn, the center is only a move from being broken open. And you write F6, counter-attacking the bishop and adding protection to E5 and gaining space. Well, let's go back. First of all, F6, it's not... we need to say more about it, because I think the big question is, let's say we go back. Let's say bishop D2. Will this win a pawn? Kind of looks like it will, because this guy's hanging. However, maybe white can be more clever than that and say, well, I'll go all the way back, as ugly as that seems, so that if, even here, I guess you could take here. And then I guess black's better. Right, Jameel? I guess he's better.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So we are with you. By the way, when we write F6 question mark exclam, that's usually, when we say that, that means it's something we don't think is good. So I think what you want is actually an exclam on F6. Maybe a way for white to try to survive would be D5, for example. A little counterattack. That might be more compelling. And I don't know what I would do for black. I would have to think about it. Okay. So, Zelzel's here. Yeah, I think he meant interesting. And that's what cross on line is referring to. So, yeah, exclam question mark is usually what we say as interesting. Question mark exclam is dubious. Why we differentiate that, we got 3 different kinds of bad moves. It's a little weird because we got dubious, we got 1 question mark, and we got double question mark. Is it a little much? It probably is. It probably is. Okay, so here we go. Bishop F6. Snip. Boom. And now rook FD1. I'm fine with that move.
Good move.
Bishop D7. Good move. Queen C8. Now, one thing, actually, I'm going to get rid of the arrows just for a second, that we see all the time at this level is the bishop H3 thing. People are obsessed with that bishop H3 thing. And, yeah, it's important to see that this really is black's good bishop, so spending another tempo to trade it for this guy, not the most amazing. And you've kind of killed your queen. But I'm sure you also, Jared, you're probably also concerned about this pawn. So Krai's going to stop yelling at you about queen c8. But it's just kind of ugly. Knight a5 might have been stronger. All right, knight g5. Now you're getting frisky, and this is a fail because you're not seeing that this coconut is hanging. All right, now we're going to get to the heart of the matter. To make 1,000 has nothing to do with opening, schmopening, dark squares, bulk squares, blop squares. No, it's about hanging stuff. And here, knight g5, you're hanging stuff, right? That's all it's about. It's just not hanging stuff. So this pawn is now hanging. Knight takes d4 or pawn takes d4. It's going to be a little bit unpleasant. Okay, h6. And now it's true. It's complicated because that f6 square. Boom, boom. Jared holds the square. e3. I think e3 is a good move. We could have considered playing e3 earlier too. Knight d8. Oh, look at that. That's what we call long-winded. Knight d8. Jameel, give him a more active move.
Oh, more active?
Yeah. A more active plan.
Well, if you really wanted to move knights elsewhere, you could have gone knight e7.
Okay. I don't know. Why are we moving the knight there? We got other people that want to play.
I quite like b6.
Oh, God, Jameel. Just kill me now. b6.
Rook b8.
Oh, God.
Knight a5.
Yeah.
What else is there?
We got to move this bishop, boss, so that our queen gets a little space. So look, it's either bishop f5, bishop g4, or bishop h3. It's one of those moves. I like, personally, bishop f5 and bishop g4. Those seem really annoying. And then the queen gets some squares. And then once we can move our queen out, we can move our other business out. But we gotta do something with this bishop. It's blocking everybody up over here. And this comes with a threat of snip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Knight d8. Pieces are moving backwards. c5. Frisky. And the spirit of the things, I quite like it, I want to say, because black has undeveloped all their stuff. So let's open up the position. All right, now black plays bishop h3. And here I would think we should be able to find a winning move somehow. I don't know how it is yet. I just say that we should have a win here because black isn't developing their stuff. Now you found a good move with c takes d6. You also saw that bishop h3, c takes d6 was working. Now, one thing I'm going to guess that happened here, actually, I don't know if that's true. I don't know why you didn't see. I was going to say maybe you didn't see c takes d6 because you were worried about this and didn't see that you could hold the knight from this attack. But that can't be true because you played rook ac1. And he could still do that thing on e4 to you, right? So, again, the path to 1,000 has everything to do with seeing basic things like c takes d6. Good move. Queen f5. And now you played knight d2. Now, the issue with knight d2 is that the pawn looks kind of hanging on c5, right? So, could we have done something else?
Queen d5.
No, queen d5. What's wrong with queen d5, Jameel?
Because queen takes, so queen takes, rook takes, and the knight hangs.
Good. That's not right. Any other ideas?
Possibly f3, although it looks a bit weird.
Yeah, you could consider f3. I like f3 better than knight d2.
If you want to be fancy, queen c3. What do you think of queen c3?
I think queen c3 is really interesting, yeah. So Jameel's talking about this move. And then the other move that I want to just throw into the mix is this is kind of interesting too. Now let's take a look. On rook e4, d takes, I don't think it's going to work. I think black is going to be okay here. At least I haven't figured out a way for white to play. Even this is scary for black, even this, because I'm going to take this coconut and then once I take it here. However, I think we can improve it. See, so instead of taking back immediately, we play queen c3. Hello, Mr. King. And then assume here, here. Let's just say here for a moment. And whether we take first or not, this is a deadly pass pawn. Actually, Kraai, is it true? Maybe not. So I always want to say c takes d6 is really interesting, something to analyze. And Jameel's move, queen c3, is also really nice. One thing, though, about this is maybe this pawn thing is really where we should be looking. Now, I want to stress something. If we don't find any tactics, then a move like queen d3 could just hold the knight, and we continue our incredible, nice pressure, right? That would be fine. However, for tactics, yeah, we want to look at something like CD. Let's go a little deep here for a second. CD, rook e4. Takes. Oh, this is pretty hot, dude. I don't know. Let me just put in ye old, I don't know. So let's say rook takes, pawn takes. I think he might be toast.
Knight c3.
Knight c6, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's not going to work, right? And knight e6. What's that?
Here's another idea.
Yeah.
What about if you go back a couple moves?
So c takes c6.
So rook takes knight, rook takes.
I'm going to play pawn takes.
What if you did rook takes first?
Well, then I'm giving him a check.
Okay.
Might also win after rook takes,
Yeah,
queen
my
takes
idea
f3.
was rook takes rook. Oh, but I guess. Yeah. I was thinking rook takes rook, queen takes. Then you take the pawn.
But maybe you could do it that way too. But this way he has less options. Okay, so this was also like the tactical way to do it. The main thing I want you to see, though, is that with knight d2, you're losing this pawn. Is white still okay? Probably, but why did we give him this pawn? Okay.
Rook d5. Do you win it back?
dc5, rook d5. I don't know.
Knight takes.
Oh, Kraai. Take it easy. But here we're okay. We haven't lost anything. We're doing okay. Like before, white was crushing with all this penetration, but now he doesn't really have anything. And this knight is passive.
Yeah.
Okay, so knight e6. And then we got a tactical blunder with knight c5. Boom. Nice move. And Azelzel's on the way to victory here. Rook c4. Let's see how fast Jameel sees the win. The easier win than rook c4. Jameel, white to play. What's that?
Rook takes d6.
Oh, come on. Do it better than that.
You didn't like rook takes d6. Okay.
It's winning, but there's just an easier way, boss. Queen c3.
Yeah, I was thinking queen c3 was the pawn. Oh, okay. I guess.
Right? You get the rook on the 7th. That's where we want to be.
I thought there was some.
Okay, rook
More
c4,
complicated idea there.
b6. That was Jameel's favorite move earlier. Now let's hope white found queen c3. f3. Uh-oh. Okay, so now one of the things I want to say about the program that's cool is at this level, one of the things that we want people to do is to spar out positions where you're like up a piece, right? And it takes some work to learn how to do it. And this f3 move is not seeing the tactical opportunities that you have here with queen c3 and rook c7. Rook e6, you still have queen c3. h4, no one understands. c5, okay. h5, fancy. Fancy. Oh my lord, okay. Rook g4, it's getting fancy. All right, one of the things I want to say is I like a lot that you're bringing your knight back into the game. And now you get super fancy. And let me just say, it makes me nervous because you're winning this position. Does it have to be so fancy? You know, all right. And now knight takes g5. So you made it unnecessarily complicated for yourself. In this kind of position, let's go back. It doesn't need to be that hard, right? So, you know, you can play things like queen d3 followed by knight e4 followed by takes, right? You don't have to, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. You have an extra piece, so you're the one who can just continually pound. You don't have to do crazy things, man. Okay. So yeah, rook g5. And then rook e5 was better. Was f6. It's still more complicated than I'd like it to be because of d5 now. Yeah, and then black missed d5. So let me just stress, both sides still have plenty of time here. And this is right around the point where, as I showed before, the players both stopped thinking. Okay? In fact, it's like right here. Rook e4. Kind of like tantamount to resigning. Rook f6. Uh-oh. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Very nice move. Nice move. Okay, now we're winning. And then he trades. Okay, at this point, I understand the time graph. At this point, it's okay to be moving fast. You could resign. Okay, so. Whew, that was good, though. That was well done. All right, let's go back. Krai's going to change the scene. And next up, we have Lucky J Lolo. Lucky J says, I have enjoyed the reading list and will keep continuing to try to play more classical games while annotating them. I have noticed improvement. Let's give this a click. Journey began 3.5 years ago. This is the kind of story I like. When I use working out, reading, and chess to maintain my sobriety from alcohol. I am a combat veteran who uses chess as a medium to prove many aspects of my life, in a sort of inner game of chess, atomic habits kind of way. I enjoy attacking and gambit style of play, but challenge myself to try to play positionally too. I don't get to play nearly as much as I'd like to. It's particularly difficult to find long, uninterrupted periods of time so I can play classical games, but I study and squeeze what I can in when I can. Hoping to one day snag a title, but ultimately I play chess to keep my mind sharp as I get older, just as I work out to keep my body in shape. Oh, that was beautiful. No, that was inspirational. I really like that. Yeah. Genius. Now, actually, Jameel, I was thinking about something the other day. I wanted to just get your take on it. Mm-hmm. There's just a basic consensus that if you don't exercise, your body's going to just fall apart, dude. And we've all kind of experienced it in our lives. But somehow, it's more controversial. Not just somehow. I think it's the statement, the comparable statement that seems like it would logically follow would be, if you don't use your mind, then if you don't work out your mind, then your mind will also decompose in the same way your body will decompose if you don't exercise. However, I guess it's just studies have been done, right? And it's like, for example, the first intuition of many people decades ago was if we have kids play chess, they will be smarter. And I guess the empirical evidence is actually no, it's not true.
No, I think what people fail to realize is the relationship between physical health and one's cognitive health as well. Like, if you do more exercise, particularly cardio, you're more likely to keep your brain sharp than if you just played chess, but you were morbidly obese, for example, as you age.
Okay.
Right? So, there are risk factors to dementia, for example. And yes, learning new languages and learning the piano at an older age, learning instruments at an older age will reduce the risk of developing a neurodegenerative disease.
Mm-hmm.
But the impact of just going for a run or just staying active, and by active I don't mean exercise, I just mean moving, right? Not living a sedentary lifestyle, is significantly more impactful as something that will reduce, as a mitigator, right, of neurodegenerative conditions, than playing chess would be.
Right.
You know this guy Brian Johnson?
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, I've heard of this guy.
This guy is trying to live forever.
Yeah.
So he did some, I don't know exactly what the research was. He conducted a study on himself. And what he found is that his cognitive performance, there was a marked improvement in his cognitive performance once he started doing more cardio versus just weightlifting as well.
Okay, but that's okay. Let me just say, I want to move on to Lucky here. But for me, as an intellectual question, I just want to reiterate it. It's confusing to me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that there's such outsized benefits to exercising for the mind, for the body, but comparable exercises for the mind don't have the same measurable immediate benefit. I'll just leave it there as an intellectual question. I don't understand. I think it's very confusing. Okay, here we go. Lucky is doing great, has done some tactics tests, done the checkmate tests, has a tactics rating above where he's at. Clubs, chess dads and moms. I want to say, Lucky, there is a cool club on here for veterans. So yeah, join that club. I think this by the way, I really loved your bio. That's great, man. I actually also say it with alcohol. Jameel's got an alcohol problem.
I absolutely do not have an alcohol.
Yeah, he's got an alcohol problem, my friend.
I have a glass of wine with dinner once a week. I do not have an alcohol problem. I just like to boast to Jesse about what wines I'm drinking, and he gets jealous.
In any case, let me just say for myself, let me speak for myself,
Goodness.
that
These old people,
that I am convinced that because I was studying chess at an early age, it kept me away from particularly destructive activities to my mind. Now, I definitely went through periods of drinking. I enjoyed it a lot, especially as an adolescent, yada, yada. But I feel like I was more protected in this kind of the same way that Lucky is describing. And Freddie is absolutely right, Jameel. The first step is admitting you got a problem, buddy.
Oh my God, stop telling me.
That's the first step.
Jesse, no, I have a public persona to uphold, and here you are slandering me. This is defamatory, right?
All right, here we go. Here's the score breakdown. He's in his 20s, my friend. Jameel's in his 20s. He doesn't feel it that much, he has a couple drinks. Okay, he can still sleep after he has the drinks. I can't sleep no more after having
I actually can't.
Well, there you go. I'm telling you.
That's why I don't drink spirits.
Okay, so beautiful score breakdown. That's looking great. And let's just click. Let's see. Middle game. Oh, dude, he's doing the work, man. Look at that. That's great. And then let's just click around a little bit. Oh, this guy's killing it, man. All right, so let's go games. Hopefully we'll find something here. We do. This was played a couple months ago. Let's see if I already did it. No, I already seen this one. Lucky, send us another game, buddy. Send us another game. Okay, so we're going to go back. That was Lucky, though. Very much enjoying his quest. Okay, next up we got Jags. And we got, what do we got here? We got 3. Oh my gosh, we actually have 4 more. 4 more. And these are all going to be people who are going from 900,000 to 1,000 plus. Jag says, graduating again feels like the right time. Did well in the last Dojo Open Classical, under 1,800. Had some fun games, great postmortems afterwards. My game quality in my weekly game, OTB, however, hasn't been as consistent. I'm finding that my overall level of tiredness and stress going into the game affects me more live than online, leading to more blunders. That being said, I've won 2 out of my last 3, so I'm hoping I can maintain more consistent play. Looking forward to digging into Chernev, Silman, and Sarawan in the 1,000 plus cohort. Great.
So I completely agree with what you say. Trying to play sleep deprived for whatever reason is just a recipe for disaster.
Oh, he's doing some distance running, softball and stuff. This is great. I got a boy and a girl. Man, yeah, I can't imagine having 2 girls, buddy. That's just disheartening. Beautiful heat map.
Jesse, you should stop talking before you get cancelled.
That's right. Anyways, beautiful heat map. Jags is, look, so let's just say the obvious, my friends. Somebody like Jags, my little screen grab isn't working too well here. I want to give him what he deserves here. How come somehow it was working before and I'm just going to scooch it over?
I didn't realize how inflated the lead chess.
Oh, dude, the lead chess is out of hand, yeah. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you want to imagine to yourself, like, he joined in April of this year, has gone up 386 points. How did it happen? Look at this heat map. That's how it happened. He's got 2 young girls. They're not letting, it's hard. It's hard. They're not going to let him play chess. They'll be yelling at him, Daddy, Daddy. Oh, my God. Okay, so he's doing great. Tactics test somehow worse than the checkmate test. Clubs. Toronto. Oh, there's a lot of people in Toronto. Okay, I'm also part of that Chess Dads and Moms, as was Lucky, also part of that group. Let's look activity. We want to see what he did to get to this one. Beautiful. Lots of games and analysis. Let's head right in. Let's look at these. Boom, look at all these games. This one was played fairly recently. And let me just click around for a second. All right. So first off, we're going to look at the time graph. Looks reasonable from both players here. Reasonable. Yeah. Nothing to complain about there. This might actually be a dojo game. And one thing I want to say about the dojo games is you are far more likely to play somebody who is going to think. Right?
And is not a cheater.
And is not a cheater. That's right. And this is Friday Night Fights. I would say, as a fellow old dude, I'm older than you are, Jagsman, is that Friday night, oh, that's the worst time to play a game. Actually, I'm playing a tournament this weekend. It's one of these weekend tournaments, and they have a round schedule for Friday. And I was like, sorry, bud, I'm taking a bye.
Could you elaborate? Why?
What's that?
Why? Why is it not a good time?
Oh, I mean, first of all, when you're older, especially if you have kids, is that you're going to wake up early. So I wake up at 6. And really right around, let's say, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, I'm already shutting down. It's already time to shut down. So, and I think I'm going to move it even earlier. I think I want to get up at 5. So Friday night, I'm exhausted, dude. I'm absolutely exhausted. Now, Pruess was doing some.
Did you read that book, the 5 a.m. Club or something?
Oh, no. I don't belong to any of those clubs. Okay. So this is a fancy way of playing knight c3. There's like a very complicated reason why Karpov back in the day played knight d2, but it's only sometimes. Anyways, it usually transposes.
I think this guy might be wanting to go for the alien gambit.
Alien gambit.
No. You know what that is, right?
I don't want to talk about it though. Okay, so this is a dojo repertoire that Microhawk is playing. I designed it. It's a beautiful setup for black. Let's see how it goes. c3, okay. Good. Good. Check to the miserable king, knight e2. And now black forgets what's part of the dojo course. And he plays g6, which is probably not the end of the world. But the dojo move is h5. It's a very beautiful, deep move, which claims that we're not going to get mated, and we are going to play on the king side, especially if they castle on the king side. Okay, but g6, bishop e3, we're not going to complain. Bishop e6, castles. Development largely complete. White is up a tempo on black with its pieces, their pieces, connected and coordinated in a strong pawn formation. Black has double pawns. Now, I got a lot of questions. Bishop a2, first of all, I would be very tempted to take that bad boy. And I don't believe in this castles that white did.
I think he's thinking the bishop couldn't take because b3 would trap it, but in fact, queen a5 holds.
You mean bishop a2, b3, queen a5 holds?
Yeah.
I think we're going to, well, that's the game continuation, so we're going to see that in action. What I just want to say is, bishop a2 is very interesting. We're going to look at it. But my dumb question is like, queen a5, don't we just have a massive initiative? It looks big to me. Now, I think
to play b3 or something.
He's got to do something. I don't know what he'd do. I guess to me, it's nasty, but I guess I would try that move. You know, and black's got the initiative against the white king, which, when we have opposite sides castling, as Jameel knows, is the most important business. Okay, now I want to stress, though, you shouldn't feel too bad about bishop a2 because I would be, well, it's black who did it. I would be really tempted by bishop a2. All right, you play b3. And the beauty of this is our king, in fact, has this out. So bishop a3 is not mate. And now it looks like this bishop is gone. Queen a5, king d2, brilliant. Dang. And I guess you're winning now. Look at that, Jameel. Look at that.
Okay, so it doesn't hold, I see.
Yeah, no, this is like professional level over here.
Well, hold up. No, I was thinking queen a3, but then rook a1, you're winning bishop.
Well, we should look at it for a second, because let's say queen, rook, bishop. I think white has to find this move. Bang. And their queen's gone. Her queen's gone, buddy. Dang, that's rude. Yeah, it's not just the bishop, it's the queen now. Okay, so, by the way, really good annotations. Boom. We still have some work to do here, even if we decide this position is winning. b5, frisky, rook a1, queen c7, h4. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, Jameel. h4, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody or anything. Okay, I mean, h4, that's a GM level move. That really is GM level. And not only that, but it takes some cojones to be playing h4. So let's say why we like the move so much, besides these beautiful arrows, is that this rook wants to get involved. And the problem for white is, even though we're up a piece, our king is permanently on the run. So if we could put black's king on the run, well, that would be a nice thing. Knight d7, h5, good move. Knight f5, boom, good move. Knight takes, looks awful. And you talk about HG, and I like what you're doing. He's saying, let's just double on the H file and do our thing. Yeah. So knight G6, and look, this is a nice move too, rook H5. Simple and strong. Simple and strong. Knight F4, bad move, I think. For no other reason, it's going to help us trade pieces off, regardless of the H7 pawn and all that other questions. Boom, boom. Look at that. He doesn't even care about bishop H7. He's just like, I'm gonna come in there with a rook, son. Okay. Now, I have to say that scares me a little bit, right?
Well,
But he's not scared though. Look at that. He is not scared, my friend.
Really?
Queen G2, boom. He's not scared. And then black just admits death here and plays Queen H1. This was a very high level game, I want to say, okay? It was a very high level game. Like, I think white might have not seen everything with bishop A2. I certainly didn't see everything at first. But this whole king D2 thing was high level. H4 was high level. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Well, no, we should end. We should stop. We should stop it here. Okay. This is just death, dude. And then queen B8 mate. Whew. That was a very high level game. If you had played that game against Jameel, he would be checking the engine to see if your moves were engine moves, right? Jameel gets so upset.
Question. Black had the opportunity to go queen e3 at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, he could have played queen e3 instead of queen g2, I think. And then I assume his intention was king c2. And the bummer is that bishop on d3 is holding everything together. And we're touching this coconut.
Queen f7?
F2?
Yeah, something like that. Rook e1.
Good move, okay. Good move.
Well, hold on. Yeah, okay. Queen d2.
It is true that after rook f8, you know, it's winning for white, but it's not completely over.
Yeah.
Okay, that was really well done, though. One of the best games I've seen. Also, very good annotations. Very good annotations. Okay, so Jags, we're gonna see you again. You're putting in the work, dude. You're clearly gonna graduate in not too long of a time. Okay, Krai's got to change scenes before he gets yelled at. Okay, open link. Okay, so started in April.
Jesus. 964 chess.com rapid. 1707 Lee Chess Classical.
Yeah, but you know, 1707 Lee Chess translates to 1065. So, you know.
Chess.com? No, just normalized.
Okay, so here's a cool thing. Some people don't log their hours and just the points. It's okay. And here we just switch it to dojo points and we can see Neil's kind of had a break recently, but now he came back and then made this huge jump. Sometimes your chess needs a little break and then he comes back, boom, immediately making progress. Okay, needs to do some tactics work. Probably has neglected that for a little bit. Let's see what else he's doing. Activity. We are going to go back one. This is what he did to get here. Good. Let's see if we got a game. Oh, we got loads. This was played very recently. This is a 30-30 game. Let me just go check. Ooh, we get to yell at him. All right, so here is the time graph, my friends. It is ye old familiar story where neither side is taking that much time. The good news is the dojo player is playing white, so at least they used more time than their opponent. Okay, here we go. Boom. Little weird, but it's not the end of the world. DE4, of course you should take the pawn. Don't worry about losing castling. The queens are off. And now you say he's got a little advantage. This is a little bit like the Rosen Gambit. What is it called? It's not called the
Stafford.
The Stafford Gambit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have some development. You have some compensation for your business. Your opponent doesn't understand development and plays C6. So now I think you have full compensation. Good move. They block their bishop in. Good move. Good move. Okay. You could play rook E1 too. I like what you're doing. Bishop E2. This one I don't like because I don't want you to trade queens. So what's the most natural move here, Jameel? You got more than one.
Rook E1.
Yeah, rook E1. That's simple. Good move. Ooh, and then here we don't really want to take. See? Because that was his bad piece. But okay, we're talking to him a little bit. All right, bishop c4. Now, something I want you to see is at this point we need to fix the knight. See how it's getting stuck by this pawn? But we're going to say that's okay. Okay. Good. Black's playing pretty good. And then that's a nice, I don't know, Jameel, that looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. That looks pretty good. Because now we're getting this beautiful rook, and it's pinning all of his coconuts over here. H5, threatening to trap our bishop. We say no. Rook H6. This game's kind of high level, but now we find the nice rook B8, and now we're in charge. We've got the rook on the 7th. We've regained our pawn. This rook's a chump. This knight owes us a move. Good move. And now we take. I think it's right to say this is a little funky. Let's read what you write. I decide to trade knights and take his pawn. That way I'm up material, and my rook is more active than his, and I have two passed pawns. So I fancy my chances. But there was a better way of doing it with bishop e1. Okay. Now, by the way, if you put it in the computer and the computer says bishop e1, well, tell us that, you know. I think bishop e1, the other kind of clever thing about it is there's a hidden threat, because then you'd be threatening knight d5, cd5, bishop b4. And from a positional point of view, it's important to say that we need to fix this guy. At the moment, he's blocked by this big old fat pawn.
I'll also say you're improving his structure with knight takes, if he takes back with the pawn.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, it is true that you're saying, hey, chess is an easy game, I'm going to take your pawn, and that's true. Bishop f2, rook g6, h4. h4 I want you to see as a loss of time. So, in this position, what would it mean to gain time? Well, this pawn wants to go all the way. So that would be a way to improve your position. At some point, you might want to fix this king. So king f1, that's not dumb. So a4, b4, king f1. In the same way, at the beginning of the show, I asked Jameel to say, what are the moves in the opening which develop your stuff? The question of time pertains here too. h4 doesn't do anything, right? h4 doesn't do anything. But king f1, a4 do. Okay, b4, here we go. Takes, thank you very much. That's how the games will be decided. And when you play some chump who's not thinking, oh, that's right, we'll take all your coconuts because you're not thinking. Okay.
I mean, frankly, even if you didn't have the bishop as well, the quality of Black's rook was just atrocious.
It was. It was.
Position.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Foxtrots. He wrote me a novel, Jameel. First of all, I have to fix the scene before I read this novel. There might be some paraphrasing of said novel. Here we go. Looking back on my journey so far with the Dojo training plan, it's been a combination of challenging games, rewarding breakthroughs, and a lot of self-reflection. Reaching the next cohort feels like an important milestone in my chess development, and I'm excited to continue pushing myself forward. Over this phase, I've taken a big step by joining a chess club and diving into the over-the-board rated tournaments. Competing in these events has given me invaluable experience and a real sense of what it's like to play in a serious setting. Even though I haven't yet had the time to deeply analyze all of my classical games, that's my next big focus. I plan to pause tournaments until January so I can dedicate the time needed to carefully review my games, identify patterns in my play, and work on key improvements. One of my strengths has been my willingness to dive into complex positions and seek out active counterplay. This has helped me hold my own in dynamic openings like the English and Karo, where piece activity and flexibility are key. But at times, I found myself overextending or misjudging tactical exchanges, leading to vulnerable positions or unnecessary risks. A major takeaway for me has been the value of maintaining a balance between aggression and solid principles. I've learned that it's not enough to go for an active plan without securing my position first. Then he talks about CCT, checks, captures, threat. As I move into the next cohort, my focus is on developing my calculation skills. Okay? I also want to continue working on staying calm, psychological pressure. Grateful for the progress I've made so far, but I know there's still a lot to learn. I'm looking forward to the new challenges that lie ahead, embracing this next step in my journey. Okay, great. Let's take a look at Foxtrot here. So, beautiful heat map. Look at this. Basically, since Foxtrot's joined the dojo, he's been at it every single day, and the improvement has come. This is what it looks like. Look at that. Just solid work ever since he joined. Part of the ECF, where Jameel has still only got a provisional rating because I can't get him to play OTB. That's a thing. Okay. So, has done some checkmate tests. We'd like to see more. Clubs. The English. I need you to join that UK, buddy. The UK one and the English one.
Okay.
So activity has done a bunch. We want to go back and see how we got to this one. It's been a lot of games and analysis. And yeah, that looks good. Let's see if we got some games. So this is from September. Maybe I've looked at this already. Let's just give it a check. All right, we're going to take a look at this one. Ooh. Here we go, my friends. It's the ye old story. He is the blue line playing black. His opponent is some rando online who is incapable of thought. And what happens? It looks like that. So you ask yourself, it's funny every time, but I keep saying, why are these people playing longer games? It's like they come to the game with the aspiration of thinking, but are too distracted by their online world to really do it. Okay. So let's get into it. Oh, change the scene, Mr. Kraai. Okay. So, doom. Here we go. Fine so far. This is a typical thing you see as white. It's a little highfalutin. He actually prepared for this game, and now we get, boom, good move. Why? Because white has wasted time with h3. I believe this is actually in my Karo course too, this e5 move. All right, now it's a big question. Which one do we take? Now, this is a little highfalutin, but in general, we wouldn't want to take the bishop. Because the bishop, this one, even though it looks pretty, is not contributing to the defense of the blockade square, d4. So personally, my move here would be bishop d6. Because either way I take, I develop white's queen. All right, so now I think white's a little bit better. Reasonable move. I don't know why we wouldn't castle, though. Queen d7. Yeah, castle. Always castle. Bishop d4. A little bit annoying now. Castle. Queen e7. And he goes for it. Castle's long. Incorrect. Incorrect. Now, white still might be fine, but there's no reason to put your king at risk over here. Castles. All right, so now we get a big fight. Knight e5. Doesn't look right to me. Knight e4. Good move. Now, In the long novel that Foxtrots wrote me, he said that he was finding counterplay in complex positions, and this move comes to mind as a good example of that. It's a great move. So this bishop is not active. We would love it to be active. This knight was not really doing anything. Now it's in his face. So knight e4, at the very least, a good combative move. Knight e4, I think a mistake, because now our bishop is opened. And now we say bishop a2. We've had two bishop a2s. This one's definitely a very mean bishop a2, because not only is it not going to get trapped, but at some point we might play bishop b3 and really get into white's position. All right.
Jesse,
Yeah.
quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of bishop a2, would f3 not win the knight? So f6.
Well, he can move the knight after
Sorry.
f6. Yeah.
Sorry. Up to the because bishop is the point.
Okay. Now, queen g5, I'm a little nervous about, both because of this f4 that's played in the game, but also queen e3. I don't want to trade queens in this position. So, Jameel, what do you think black's best move is here?
Rook c8.
Okay, I like rook fe8.
Or rook e8, yeah.
Yeah, just because then we got your threat. Yeah. Okay, check. Now our king gets a little funky. Knight g4. Queen takes, thank you very much. So, blunder by white. Lost the pawn. And now we have, it's more to say we have a winning endgame here, because we not only have the pawn, the extra pawn, but we have these glorious bishops here. A5 maybe is a little fancy. It's a little fancy. We definitely don't want you to take this knight. Developing a rook to one of these squares is the most natural move to my head. A5's not bad, though. A little fancy. A4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Completely overlooked us blundering the bishop. So, you guys, you're seeing here that people who are graduating to the 1,000 plus still are blundering their stuff, right? And what is white doing? But white, by the way, isn't really thinking at all. They're just moving around. You know, 93 is just like, well, I'll threaten something. Okay, now we got a completely different situation. It is not crispy critters for us yet. Jameel, in this situation, what should black's first priority be in terms of playing this endgame?
Straight off the rooks.
Nice, boss. Good. Explain to us, why is exchanging the rooks a big deal?
It's about diversity of what the pieces can do.
Mm-hmm.
So with two rooks, we've got two pieces that can do the same thing.
Right.
And he only has one rook.
Mm-hmm.
So really what we want is to have the only rook on the board, even though he's got a bishop and a knight, although he's down a pawn.
Good.
For the rook.
Good. And so what would our best move here be?
Rook e8.
Nice. Simple and strong. Simple and strong. We're going to bully him with this positional threat. Rook fd8 doesn't look good. First, it's not threatening anything, but also now you can see his rook. Oh, it's doing something. Then we go passive. Don't like it. King c2. Rook e8. He takes. What a chump. What a chump. King d2. Okay. Rook d8. What do we want you to do? We want you to fix your king now. Your king is the next person who needs to come out. A basic move would be f6, intending king f7. Again, f6. Boom. Boom. Okay. And now you played a3, good move. Oh, no. Oh, no. And then the thing actually to say about this position is now you're fine. You're not going to lose this anymore. Whereas at the beginning of this endgame, let's go here, I don't know about me. If you're playing me, it's not necessarily clear I'm going to win this position as white. But if you're playing my coach, KGB, he'll raid you in this position with those 2 minors. I mean, the guy will just hurt you, you know? So it's technically lost here. But white, like, traded the rooks. And then all of a sudden, honestly, you would have chances to win. Okay, so as we can see, Fox, the big thing that's going on here is you're still blundering, right? You're blundering stuff. That is your biggest challenge at the moment. We had 2 big blunders in this game. Okay, let's continue. I think we just have one more, and that's YOLO Chess, and he says, most helpful, just having some guidance on what to study. Now, how did I know that YOLO was a boy and not a woman? Why didn't I say they? Because women are smarter than YOLO. They never do YOLO. You know? They're smarter than that. Okay. YOLO joined fairly recently and really has been crushing the heat map. With that crushing of the heat map, the rating is just flying up. So this is super cool to see. Now, you know, one thing about a koala, as I see in this picture, is a koala isn't really a YOLO kind of animal. You know what I mean? I think a koala is definitely, I don't know what yet. I'm going to think about it, but it's not a YOLO kind of animal. Wouldn't you agree, Jameel? Right? It's not a YOLO animal.
What would be a YOLO kind of animal?
That honey badger. You know? That honey badger is definitely a YOLO animal.
I think I'll go for a platypus.
A platypus?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, or those mountain lions that hunt on the side of cliffs. You know, those are YOLO animals. Okay, there's a lot of hunters actually that are YOLO when they're on the hunt. They're definitely putting their lives at risk. Okay, YOLO. I think your tactics need some help. That's what this is telling me. Let's look at clubs. Chicago. All right, this is our second Chicago, so that's cool. Activity. Looking great. Yeah, this is looking as it should. And then we'll see if we got some games. We do. All right, this one was played fairly recently. Let's give it a click. Let's just see what we can observe. The times aren't there, so we'll go to game review. Again, if you're careful about the copy and paste, wherever you played this game, you can get the times. And if you play at OTB, you can put the times in. You don't have to do it for every move, but just once in a while you put the times in, then a beautiful graph will be created. Okay, so here it comes. Fine. Good. Okay, we're developing our coconuts. Knight f6. Rook AB1. A little weird, but we appreciate what you're doing. Good. And I just want to stress, whether this move turns out to work or not, what I really like about it is that you are striving to fix your rook, to make the rook active. Knight g4. Now, queen e1 is just weird. Why wouldn't we put it on d2, right? So why is queen e1 weird? Because you're blocking your other rook from coming over. And you're not defending your c-pawn, which I'm worried about after, say, cb and rook c8. Bishop c6. Rook c8, I think, was the real question, but okay. Knight e2. Okay, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. a5, a little weird. Let's go all the way back. Nice. d5. He's trying to mess with you. Good move. I like that. Probably not. Now, let's just say this was not good by your opponent to take. And the main reason is not just because this is a nice bishop, but when we take, we then liberate this guy. e6. Okay. And you give him a snip. Now, you play bishop f3. One thing we should say is this knight really is not the greatest of knights. doesn't know what it's doing. So we should not be helping it move. You might say to yourself, oh, it looks like he's going to mate me or something there. There might be a little psychological thing in the back of your head worried about mate. No, he's not mating you. He's not even coming close. So what we want to do is we want to improve our position. The rooks want to be connected, for example. So a very natural move would be queen c3, touching the coconut and just improving stuff. Maybe I'll play rook b7 next, for example. Right? Here's a nice move, actually. Queen c7 to defend both these squares. Then, no, don't play h3 then. No, we don't. Excuse me, I take it back. What we're going to do then is we're going to win the pawn. We'll win the pawn here like this. Okay, let's go back. Bishop f3. I think knight e5 is more testing. e5. Okay, Jameel, from a positional perspective, what is controversial about e5?
You wanted to open the position up, not close it down.
Good.
Because you have bishop.
Because you've got the bishop, right. So notice now the scope of this bishop is now hitting a rock. d4, and now we have a bad French structure. This is being the French structure here. Queen c7, good move. Rook fb8, I think c5 was also good. h4, you're getting a little frisky. c5. c4, I don't like it. Waste of time. So in this position, black would want to find some way to put pressure on your queen side, and c4 really doesn't do it.
Is there not an argument, Jesse, that well, no, actually, to be fair, you're right. I was going to say just because you have knight, he has the bishop, you want to lock the position, ideally with your pawns on the light squares.
Right, but c4 doesn't threaten anything, and there's no plan for it to do anything, right?
Yeah.
So the things that black should be thinking about, the way to, I think, frame the game is that we have a situation where it's really an opposite sides attack. White may eventually get something going. Imagine here, here, here. So if we give him enough time, something's going to happen. We then want to create the initiative on the queen side. There's a lot of different ways we could do this. We could think about a4, queen a5. After that, we might play a3 and look for the b2 square. We might play knight b6 to c4. We could think about knight b6, a4 coming into this bad boy. We got a lot of different options, but c4 isn't it. h5. Now he's going to start freaking out. Queen d8, h takes. One cool thing maybe to say here is h takes makes some sense to me, but in a way, we're in no rush. So the move I would like if I was white is king g2. I guess we'll just put it there and ask him, how do you feel about me opening it up? Maybe someday I might even play h6. Okay, so here we go. H takes. Good move. By the way, I think fg is probably called for here. That way, the queen can defend this square, this square laterally. King g2, snip snap, rook b8, rook h1. Very nice move. Queen f8, and now bishop e2, and you say, I didn't realize that my opponent's only chance really was to advance the a pawn. Could have stopped it with bishop d1. Now, let me just say this. Actually, Jameel, you say it. What is the narrative in this game?
The narrative is that to lock structure, white's pawns are pointing towards black's king side, so that's white's side of the board. Conversely, black's pawns are pointing towards white's queen side, which means that's black side of the board. White would like to mate somehow, or at least attack on the king side. And black really needs to cause some sort of drama on the queen side. And I'd say the knight on d7 is probably black's worst piece.
Okay.
The queen needs to stay around her man, otherwise there is risk of being mated. Alternatively, you could play something like queen g7 and walk the king over to the middle of the board. What I miss?
So what I needed you to say, okay, is that both minors are problematic. They both don't know what they're doing. And white looks like they're mating, but the only way we are going to mate this person is if we get the bishop involved in the attack. Now, how that happens, that has to be seen. Bishop e2, it's important to see, you're talking, he's worried about the advance of the a-pawn. But more importantly, it's like, oh, this bishop's got to do something. In the same way we have to develop our coconuts in a chess game, we have to come up with something to do with this bishop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
although
that's...
I will say, it's not, white might want to think about some sort of pawn break, right, with the f-pawn. So, if he wants to go f4, g4, f5 to open up the position, that's not so dumb either.
Maybe that'll take forever. That'll take forever. So I think bishop d1 is interesting. I don't know where he's going to go from there. So I think, this would be a good position to study. But the main thing I want people to see is that it's about making the bishop somehow work. So, for example, queen g5.
Queen g5.
Is it true that this would now crush black? I want to stress, I don't know without analyzing. It's going to take me a second.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you could consider bishop h5 as well.
Is it winning? Going to take me a second. I don't know. But it sure looks dangerous. It sure looks dangerous. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh, yeah, this is fun. King f8. And then the question is, will rook h4 win on the spot? It kind of looks like it does. Needs a little bit of analysis, but this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. So, again, we have a huge force advantage on the king side, and the question is, how do I get the bishop involved? And so queen g5 is just an idea. I'm sure there's others, but we're trying to get the guy involved somehow. Okay, let's look. Bishop b2, a4, good move. Now a3, and now rook b2 is truly a thing. Now we're going to be positionally lost. Boom, boom, because look at that. The rook's coming in. In fact, if I was black, I wouldn't even ask the rook to go away because he's so, at that point, after the queen's come off, he's so helpless there on h6. Knight b6 makes more sense to me, but there's not much. Yeah, knight b6 made a lot more sense. Here we want to play f4 to try to limit the knight. Knight is now in. That doesn't make any sense. Why are we giving him the coconuts? And then knight c3, he resigns. Soon thereafter. Okay, you guys, that was a great show. And tomorrow we're going to do the rest of the 1000 plus, which is a little bit, probably be a shorter show. We had a pretty long show today. And thank you, Jameel, for joining. Let me fix my scene to do a proper goodbye. That was kind of good, right? Well, I think it's good to change it up a little bit.